This is a video response to Nokia Man 2002, his video entitled A Message to All Freemen. You look like a genuine bloke. You're obviously a police officer. You appear to be looking for answers with regards to the freeman position. I can understand your confusion. The freeman position is basically at odds with everything you've learned as a police officer, all your training, all your conditioning, and yeah, I can totally understand that. One thing that comes across in your videos very strongly is that you have some very strong beliefs and opinions, but have you really examined where those beliefs and opinions come from? What if I told you that the television, the newspapers, popular fiction, schools, and even your training, they're all complicit in trying to present the world from a particular view, showing the world in just from one viewpoint. Have you actually looked into where taxpayers' money goes? You seem to believe it goes in certain places, but have you actually checked it out? You know, who pays for the roads? Again, you seem to believe you know where that money comes from, but have you actually looked into it? What about, and yeah, you also say about the NHS, same thing. Have you looked into it? I would suggest, and again, I don't mean to be derogatory or anything, but rather than studying videos, perhaps you should study some legal dictionaries, Hansard's, Halsbury's Laws of England, Archibald's, even the statutes themselves. That will start actually giving you a real view of what the freeman position is, with no ambiguity. You can't deny or you can't debunk what we believe, because it's written there in black and white by the people who supposedly make all these laws in inverted commas. Okay, let's get down to your question, shall we? Okay, your questions kind of ramble on a bit, but I don't mean that sort of in a rude way, but the question one was about consent. You said you made a statement to say consent is automatic. Consent can never be automatic. It's a question. You know, do you consent? Yes or no? No. I mean, that's it. It's a question. You can't lawfully dictate that somebody's going to automatically consent to something unless there's a contract there. If you've signed a contract saying, you know, I specifically consent to something, yes, it's automatic after that. But unless there's a contract you could hold up and show, no, consent isn't automatic. Your actual question there was, at what point do you give consent? Well, when you're asked for it. Simple as that. Again, it's a question. So when is that? When are you asked for consent? Okay, as part of the charging process for a police officer has a legal requirement to ask, or say something like this: I'm charging you for doing 45 miles an hour in a 30 miles an hour zone. Do you understand? Well, that question is deceptively asking for consent, because the word understand is being used in its legal context. Now, if you look up the word understand in a legal dictionary, you'll find that it actually means stand under, to accept, to be bound by, to agree to consent, essentially. So by asking that question and receiving, asking that question in, you know, in natural English, as so it seems, the person being charged naturally assumes that you're asking, do you comprehend the words that are coming out of my mouth, when what you're actually saying is, do you consent to these charges? There you go. Asking for consent, a question, and getting an answer, yes, usually. So that's question one. Question two, I believe, let's have a look. Again, there was a bit of stuff going on there when you were asking. You're saying something about whether if the Freeman stuff works, well, you know, why are people getting arrested? You're actually right. I mean, it's not that easy to get out of this, because it is a system. It's a system designed to extract money from people and not let people get out of it, because they obviously want to maximise the amount of profit here. People are being arrested. The reason people are being arrested is because police aren't educated in law. They're not. Number of times I've spoken to police, they've said they've got a working knowledge of the law, and I suspect they've even got less than that. I rather suspect you have a narrow guidelines in which to work in, and you work in a kind of flowchart type manner. The courts as well are a game of chess. This game relies on the ignorance of the people, and the fact that the language, the legislation is written in a foreign language, legalese. There's the trick in itself. Legalese is, well, it looks like English, it sounds like English, but a lot of the words are redefined to mean something else. So it's there purely for deception. If you know, if it wasn't, there wouldn't be these legal dictionaries showing what the words are redefined to. So it's just deception. And as I said, courts are like a game of chess. But nevertheless, I have seen personally several cases dismissed because the court is increasingly coming up against people who are getting better educated about the law and are better chess players. So there are people who have stood by this position, who aren't people who've just watched videos. They've done the research, studied like crazy over a number of years. I don't want to name names, but if you, I will. I'll name some first names. But if you're in the Freeman community, you'll know who I'm talking about. Guy, Andy, Adam, several people. I mean, I could go on. All these people have had cases dismissed because they've stuck by the guns. So that's question two. Question three, you mentioned, you talk about road tax. Well, road tax is a misnomer, more accurately a deception. Road tax was actually abolished in 1937. 1937. We now pay something called vehicle excise duty, which has nothing to do with roads. Road tax, anyway, only ever paid a fraction of what the roads cost to repair, etc. The way that roads are funded is the tax on petrol. So it's got nothing to do with road tax or vehicle excise duty. There are websites, if you go and have a look, you will find all the information. There's a very interesting website that shows Winston Churchill's opposition to road tax. Again, look into these things. Don't just go by what you understand from this you know, supposed common knowledge. Bloke down a pub told me, you know. It's you go on the web or go into a library and look these things up. Anyway, in the same vein, your question 4, the NHS isn't funded by taxpayers. It's funded by your national insurance. If you work, you pay national insurance. That pays for the NHS. Our taxes, all of them, all the hidden stealth taxes, go to pay for things like our fictional national debt. It pays for EU membership, and most of all the wholesale slaughter of innocent people across the world, innocent foreign civilians, just normal people going about their business, getting bombed by predator drones and such like, and a whole host of other things that we have no say in. You asked again at the end of your video, what's the point? If we're all going to get arrested, what is the point? The point is, we have started to realise that we are slaves in this system. The system is there to milk us like cows. Yeah? There are 65,000 laws or statutes on the books, and ignorance doesn't excuse you. So every day you're breaking laws. You don't know about it. There's one of these 65,000 laws applies to you. Not just me, to you as well, to you police officers. Now, I have enormous amount of respect for police officers, or should I say police constables. Got to remember to say that. I have enormous respect for you police constables. You, most of you, joined up in a genuine attempt to help people and help society. And from some of your words, I assume you're one of them. A genuine attempt to do good in the world. But like many of us in other jobs, we find that our work has been corrupted. You know, we find that we're doing things that aren't helping people. We have natural, God-given rights, but this system has persuaded us to waive those rights for the benefit of this society. These benefits aren't benefits. They're made to seem like benefits, but they're all liabilities. They all work against us. The system isn't for us. The system is to allow a wealthy elite, a parasitic elite, to continue in their lap of luxury, supported by all of us working our asses off to keep them where they are. That's it. No more than that. We've given up our rights, mainly because we don't know what our rights are. And this is where the freemen come in, because we're trying to make sure that those rights don't disappear. We only have the rights we know how to claim.